What's up, guys? We're
Oh,
here for another episode.
all right.
Uh, I'm Kevin. The guy in the hat is, oh my gosh, it's Isaac.
What's
And
going on,
then
Isaac?
last but not least, Brian, or Evil Figs, as he's
That's
known online.
together
Uh,
we are rolling the film on a serious man.
yes, awesome, awesome. We
But we
actually
gotta
remembered
be
his name.
serious today. We gotta be serious for this movie.
Um,
So
I think
you want to start it off? It was your pick, if I
it,
remember correctly.
it was my pick. I'm very interested to hear what Isaac says because he says he's not a real fan of this film. So we're just going to edit his parts out, though. uh, A Serious Man is directed by the Coen brothers. My favorite film of theirs is The Big Lebowski, but this is a complete turnaround from that sort of venture.
We're gonna do
It,
that one soon.
that one might be an upcoming one. A Serious Man is much different. It's almost semi-biographical because a lot of it is taken from their own experiences from a small I guess it's Midwest,
Yeah,
unknown
like
Midwest town.
They're in Minnesota.
Minnesota. There it is.
They are, I think, a lot of the kids in the film are named after people they knew, and they grew up around a lot of Jewish people, a large Jewish community they were in.
Nice.
Um, what else? I had never seen this movie. I've only heard of it, so I decided, hey, why not? I'm gonna jump straight forward. But I did like it a lot. It requires a lot of thinking, but
Mhm.
it's much more fun than a previous pick of mine, Enemy.
Yeah, I think. I mean, this one is proclaimed to be a what is it? A dark comedy kind of thing. So
They call it that, but I don't find it very funny though.
I mean, there are some little parts that are comedic.
Yeah,
It's just like either at least in my opinion, I feel it's either the actors or the interactions between two of the characters that make it funny. But it's at least it's from my point of view.
I
So
feel
I
like
don't know if other people would find like the same scenes that I found funny
hmm
to be funny. So
I feel like all of the Coen Brothers movies, even if they're not like explicitly a comedy, all of them are like just funny. They're hilarious. I think it has to do with their writing style and like the types of films that they want to make. Um, I feel like there's not one Coen Brothers movie I can think of that doesn't have some
it's a
comedic
we
element.
splash a bit of comedy into it. I feel like
Yeah,
it's a taste.
yeah.
I
Mm.
don't find True Grit to be funny, but people find some elements funny. Like Matt Damon, they think he's hilarious for some reason because he's
Matt
so out
Damon
of
was
place.
hilarious. Yeah.
Uh, what were your initial thoughts on the film, Isaac?
Ooh, we're going straight to Isaac's.
Isaac is the
Um,
most controversial.
I was watching the very beginning part, where it's obviously like
It's like
along.
that's right.
Yeah, it's like in the past, way in the past, and I thought it was pretty interesting, and I was hoping to see where it was gonna go from there or what that scene would mean. But I feel like it didn't go anywhere, and I feel like that was the whole point of the movie. You're expecting it, like, oh, this is a sign, this is gonna mean something. But I feel like the lesson of the whole movie is just like, oh, nothing means anything. It's
No, it's
all doesn't
uh,
matter.
I'll jump into what I discussed with Kevin about that. Because, like, in my
Mhm.
opinion, I felt that that scene was probably like the ancestors of Larry. So it kind of foreshadowed the whole curse that they thought they were gonna have, and it was foreshadowing like all the negativity that was gonna go on within the movie, within at least our main character Larry. So at least that's what I picked up from that when I heard the whole part with that. What was it? What was it called, Kevin? Debut?
Uh, yeah, I think it's something like that because it's D and then two Y's and then a B UK or something.
Yeah. So it was like a debut, and then they said it's like a superstition for them. So at least
Oh yeah.
that's why for me that's what I thought initially, that this this foreshadow was like an omen to what's to come to our main character. And at least from what I saw, it kind of rang true to that statement.
I guess more. Um, I feel like it was really well made, well directed. I just didn't really like the subject matter. It wasn't really like entertaining. Like I was trying to find a character like even like the main character. He's not really likable, and you're not really rooting for him. I didn't find myself rooting for him at least.
He's a serious
Um,
man.
he's a serious man,
No, that's
and
Psy. Psy's the serious man.
Oh yeah, he is a serious man.
that's I.
Barry tries to be a serious man.
Do he do? Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was well written. There's a lot of funny lines. Um, but that yeah, it didn't really excite me. It was like entertaining to watch, but not one of my favorite movies that we've seen here.
Hmm.
I would say that I very much enjoyed it. I did think it was clearly well crafted, and then I looked more into it. I watched a couple interviews and I read a couple articles of it, and it expanded my appreciation of it. Um, I felt that it was more or less a clever, I guess, a clever modern critique of a religious institution because everything seems very trite. It seems kind of like they're attacking him for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I did read a pretty interesting article on some rabbis' take on it, like 10 years after the film was made. And some of them were big fans of it. I mean, clearly they're not big fans. They all of them said they didn't like the portrayal of Jewish people in the film. To your point, Isaac, you said it was hard to latch on to anyone and find anyone relatable or entertaining. And I
Yeah.
think they shared that opinion as well because I think everyone is clearly flawed in the film. But they did appreciate certain aspects of it. Some of them called it sort of a modern day retelling on the book of Job.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was very interesting. But a distinction that was made is that Job is he is tested early on and for no reason. He is God's most loyal servant, and he at the end he sticks to the test.
Mm-hmm.
He's still loyal to God. But in A Serious Man, Larry is not, because Larry is punished throughout the film, even though he's more or less a good follower. But at the end, he does something that is questionable, right? When he takes the bribe,
Yeah.
and then that's when he's ultimately punished because his son is gonna die, and then he is most likely going to die himself of some unknown disease.
Yeah. That's
So
what it got left open ended with those.
yeah, so
That.
I found that to be pretty fascinating, and that distinction with him and Job.
Hmm.
Another thing I wanted to add was that I feel like the book of Job is very cinematic. It's a very good parallel. I remember that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, the last season of Daredevil, they had a couple episodes where they talked about that,
Okay.
and then I was looking into that. And I'm not much of a religious person, but that story is very fascinating.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story for sure. I definitely see the parallels to that. Yeah.
Yes, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One scene that I really liked, that like really like caught my attention, throughout the whole movie was when he sees the second rabbi, and he tells him the story of the
The
dentist.
goy.
Yeah,
The Goy.
Goy's teeth.
Goy's teeth. I think that was extremely well made. Like that whole thing was just perfect.
I feel like there was that's where I saw the comedic value, where it was
Yeah,
like he was bringing it up. He's like, "What happened with the goy?" It's like, "What do you mean? What happened with the goy? It doesn't matter." He's like, "Why'd you tell me about this? What was the point of this story if it doesn't matter?" But yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I also like to see the parallel with Cy and Larry, like them starting their day and then going off into to their like doing their daily routine, going off to work. And for Larry was going to work and Cy was going to the golf course, if I remember correctly. and then it led them to both having a car accident, except Sai's was death, while Larry's was just like a minor accident, like a bender to bender kind of thing. So at least that was a pretty nice parallel that I saw, and it kind of shows that two different it like two people can experience somewhat similar things, but the outcomes can be greatly different. So yeah.
That was a good scene to bring up the second rabbi, because I felt like uh, even when I was just trying to absorb it at like a distance, I felt that it was entertaining and it was kind of easy to watch with scenes like that story, because it's
Mhm.
shot to be very exciting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easy to follow. And then there's other scenes where there's a tension within the scene, and um, it's not just you watching Larry suffer. Like
Mhm.
whenever he's with that neighbor, there's always tension there. And I feel like I've been thinking of that recently in my own writing, where I look and I'm like, where's the tension? Because sometimes I feel like my characters are just like throwing up exposition, and I need them to be real. I need there to be uh, tension. I need them to try and get to what they want. And I think in this film, everyone feels like a real person, even if
Yeah.
they're just given small moments.
Yeah, there was like a lot of tension with what was his name? Clive's dad that shows up to Larry's home about the whole bribe kind of thing and trying to be very sly about it. It's like, oh, it's no bribe, but we don't want to sue for defamation kind of thing. So like bringing back more of that whole the neighbor kind of try to intervene in it.
He's credited as Clyde's father, so that yeah, I thought they
Okay.
might have given him a name, but no. There's also tension whenever Mr. Brandt is on scene, his neighbor,
Hmm.
the guy that goes hunting a lot.
That's the guy that I was referencing. I thought you were referring to him, or were you referring to Mrs. I don't remember her name.
Uh, I was referring to the other neighbor, the naked one.
The one that was sun tanning.
Yeah. Oh,
The one,
Mrs. Samsky.
Samsky. There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I thought you were referring to the other neighbor. Since even at the start when that neighbor got introduced, there was always something that kind of upset Larry off of him, like with mowing over his lawn, and then I think he was building like a shed or something nearby.
And he shows up in Larry's dream.
Yeah, yeah, and it had to go. It reached to the point where he tried to get a lawyer to try to inspect the property line and stuff like that, which led
Yes.
to more money trouble.
It led to a lot of money trouble, especially with his brother as well. It just started piling up, and then
Arthur,
he had to pay for Sai's funeral, which was an insult. That was funny. That one was a sincerely funny moment.
I feel like Arthur was a good character to just splash in there, kind of thing. There was always something off about that guy, but we didn't really know at the beginning.
I'll be out in a minute.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like we're having dinner. I'll be out in a minute, and then we finally see him at the end of the night, like going to bed.
So we are wrapping up on time. So why don't we go around and give thoughts, and then after that we give final grade.
Okay. I guess we can. Do you want to start with Isaac? We'll save you for the end, Kevin. Your
Oh,
pick.
okay, cool. Isaac, you can lead the charge.
Yeah, final thoughts. I feel like the pacing was kind of slow.
Mhm.
Um, I just yeah, it didn't really catch. I feel like it was more the subject matter for me. I didn't really enjoy it what I was watching, but like like the physical, the cinematography, the writing, it was all there. I just didn't really enjoy the subject that much.
Yeah.
But overall, it was all right. I think I'm gonna give it a D plus.
Dang.
All right. So let's say a professor gives you your paper. He's like, it was all right. D
D
plus.
plus.
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
Is that right?
And what if your professor says, "Yeah, the paragraphs are greatly written. You had a good thesis, and but it was just pretty slow to read. D plus."
I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I'm not gonna give it like a good grade if I didn't like it.
I'm gonna hit up your professors. I'm gonna hit up your professors.
No, no, I understand. So it's like
It's
it could
I'm
be.
never gonna watch this movie again.
No, I get it. I
It
get
was
it.
a
It could be like
drag to watch.
it could be
I
the
couldn't.
best
I
thing.
text Kevin halfway through the movie, and I was like, "Dude, I'm not enjoying this." I was 30 minutes in, and I'm like, does this get good?" And
No,
it did get better, but
I feel you. Yeah. So for my final thoughts, it's a really slow movie. It's like it starts to pick up like halfway through, and I also got that feeling to it at the start where it's like, all right, cool. It's like a old thing. Like, are they gonna bring these characters back in any way? Are we gonna find a conclusion to this? Like I think it was like this past knowledge of whatever it is, and then when they finally said, "Oh yeah, I'm a serious man," I was getting ready to just turn off the TV, just be like, "All right, he said the name of the title. That's it. I'm done." But I had carried on. It was pretty good. It surprised me as to how well it was like done for my taste in movies. And seeing as it was Kevin's pick, he always picks something out there. And so seeing as I was Kevin's pick, it also surprised me that I'm giving it like a B minus.
Okay,
You look insulted, Kevin.
you're supposed to wait for the grade.
Oh no, Isaac gave a grade already.
I know, but I'm used to being disappointed in Isaac. All right, so I'll
this,
go.
this is my second least favorite movie that we've seen.
Which
So
one was
Raw,
first?
Raw's the first one.
Oh,
Raw.
I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say Enemy.
No, I
Uh,
like that one. I gave it a B, didn't I?
we'd have to go back to the archives, but I'll go off and say very well made film. Acclaimed directors. Writing is great. Um, good acting. Good acting. I think I was very impressed. It's very funny. I might have to go back and rewatch it to understand some more details. So I'll probably give it a B plus.
Okay.
Solid film.
If it wasn't the Coen Brothers, would you enjoy it as much?
I know Kiss Up to People. There's no one I care for
No,
personally.
man, come on, don't lie, Kevin.
All right,
Did you
Kevin
see-
Smith. Kevin Smith. That's about it. But that's because that guy's funny. That's it. He's
No,
funny.
there's another person we know.
Who?
Right?
Who?
Nah, I don't want to throw that shade out.
Nah. Throw me under the bus. Go, go, go.
We'll discuss this in college.
Say it.
All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. Next time is it's Isaac's pick.
That's right.
So we'll see what Isaac has to choose for us. You never know.
I'm gonna keep it within the theme of religion.
Interesting. So he's gonna probably choose Taxi Driver. All right, cool.
Right. See you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Yeah. And that was Rolling the Film on A Serious Man.